Hello and welcome to the Midnight Storytellers Legacy Project. My name is Chloe, and if you make yourself comfortable, I have a story to tell you. This one is for Halloween. And a lot of you will remember that not so many years ago, if you wanted to take a taxi, you didn't get on your mobile phone, you didn't have to go find a taxi rank. You could just be in the street and flag a taxi down when you wanted one. And at that time, there was one Halloween, a young taxi driver. Now, he decided to work Halloween night and he thought he'd make good money, but unfortunately, it was pouring with rain. And he was driving around the ring roads and the central roads of the city of Gloucester, making no money at all. He expected people to be out partying, but because of the rain, very few people ventured outdoors at all. He'd been driving for hours, and the rain drummed on the taxi roof, and the lights from shops and street lamps and ever-changing traffic lights, those colours and gleams shimmered and swirled around him and reflected off the wet pavements and roads. He came around a corner, and there standing at the side of the road was a tall, dark-robed figure. He got a bit closer and he saw it was a nun in the full kit, beckoning to him. So he pulled up. The nun got into the back seat and gave an address. This would be a fare worth having. The address was somewhere near Cheltenham, and so they set off. And the rain drummed on the taxi roof. The lights shimmered and swirled. The windscreen wipers squeaked and squeaked and squeaked. The nun sitting in the back seat noticed that the young driver was repeatedly glancing in his rear view mirror at his passenger, driving and looking and driving and looking, until at last the nun said, "My son, is there something you want to say to me?" And the young man said, "Well, I don't want to upset you and I don't want to offend you." And the nun said, "Well, when you are as old as I am, and you've been a nun for as long as I have been, there is very little can upset or offend. Say what you want to say." And the young driver took a deep breath and said, "All right, it's like this. All my life I've had this fantasy. All my life I've wanted to kiss a nun." "Oh. Well, there you are. See, I shouldn't have said it. I've gone and upset you now." "No, I'm not upset. I'm just a little surprised. I wasn't expecting that. But it might be possible. You could have your kiss if you were single and if you were a good churchgoer." "Well, yeah, all of that." The nun sat forward. "Very well, I will let you have your kiss, but one kiss only and no tongues." The taxi pulled over to the side of the road and both of them had to get out and run through the rain into a shop doorway, and there was a clinch that lasted. And then it was over. The nun and the driver got back into the taxi, set off again, and still the young man was repeatedly glancing at his passenger in the rear view mirror, driving and looking, the rain drumming, the lights shimmering and swirling and circling the taxi. And the nun said, "My son, I did tell you there was only the one kiss allowed." The young man said, "Yeah, I know, it was amazing, but now I feel terrible because I ain't been straight with you. Look, I know it was wonderful, and I've got to tell you the truth. Look, I never go to church and I'm married with 3 kids." "Oh, I see. The taxi pulled up at the address the nun had given. The fare was handed across. Then the nun said, "Look, as you've been honest with me, I'd better tell you the truth. 2 things you need to know. One is I'm going to a fancy dress party, and secondly, my name is Kevin."